Hello students, welcome to the lecture on news conferences, and after this lecture, we will be able to learn the following objectives. Explain the press conferences events, define the news conference in media relations, understand about the inviting news media, describe the tips for conducting a press conference, explain the handling press briefings, define the guidelines or steps for holding press briefing. Let's start with a brief introduction to news conference. Press conferences, also known as news conferences, are occasions when someone with something to say which they believe is newsworthy calls reporters together so that they can tell them all at once. The person calling the press conference usually makes an announcement or statement first, then allows reporters to ask questions. The terms media conferences or media calls are also used occasionally, though usually about an event to which a company publicist invites the media, not necessarily just journalists, in order to promote a product, performance or a celebrity, for example, a visiting singer or actor. In this, we will concentrate on press conferences for journalists. The main advantage of a press conference to the person calling it is that they do not have to repeat themselves to several different reporters at separate interviews. It also means that the announcement will have maximum impact by being in all the media at the same time, assuming that all the reporters think it is newsworthy. Let us now discuss press conferences and events. Planning a press conference or a pressed event is a little like staking a play, and one is the director. In the lead, hopefully, is one's principal. In supporting roles are characters who enhance the story and make it more likely to earn media coverage. The production can be as simple as a one-man act in front of a podium or include a cast of hundreds. Press conference checklist. Here is a checklist for preparing for a press conference or press event. This list covers the logistic of a press conference after the topic and message have been determined. These tasks should not be performed by just one person and do not all need to be done by public relations staff. Planning. Determine target media list, draft advisory, vet advisory with policy staff, list possible location, scout possible location, select location, include alternative rain location if outdoors, list possible guest speakers, vet possible guest speakers, select guest speakers and determine speaking lineup. Preparation. Issue press advisory, conduct follow-up phone calls to media and pitch event, prepare and review principals, talking points or remarks, draft press release and other media kit materials, vet materials with policy staff, review media kit materials, print and collect media kits, coordinate preparation of any additional pros or tools, charts, PowerPoints, etc., confirm attendance and talking points of guest speakers, review event or room setup, arrange or review media monitoring procedures, coordinate in-office photography. Execution. Collect list of all press attendees, identify special needs of reporters, post-event interviews, post-event information requests, distribute a press release to target media list done simultaneously as event occurs. Immediate follow-up, same day. Post photos and press release on website, post video on YouTube and create link on website, respond to reporters' requests for additional information, conduct follow-up interviews, draft initial summary of coverage including names and organizations of attending reporters. Long-term follow-up. Collect clips and video of event. Prepare report summarizing coverage.
So this past Monday, Goldman McCormick Public Relations had a press conference, a huge press conference, with celebrity star Kim Kardashian. Ryan, why don't you tell us a little bit about this event?
The event was very fun, it was exciting, and one of the things I think we both learned and came to the realization as publicists is that you have to be extensively prepared. When you're working with a celebrity, you have to understand that there will be a lot of media attending, maybe more than you could have expected. We had at least 35 photographers that were there and 7 or 8 different film crews. And I think one of the things that we did that was really well is that we made sure we had a list of people who were already attending. We knew where they wanted to set up. We got there early. We knew where people were going to set up their shots. So doing an event with a celebrity is slightly different than your traditional client because you're expecting a lot more aggressive media. You know, people aren't going to walk over each other to, let's say, for example, take a picture of somebody who's got a new product line. But something like Kim Kardashian, it's understanding that there's someone in control, that we were controlling everything, and that we had everything calm the entire time.
And if you had to do anything different at this press conference, what do you think you would have changed?
The only thing I would have changed is I would have made sure that we had a little bit more space for the area where we set up. We did cram a lot of people in a short amount of space, and I feel that other than that, it went really well. And the fact that we didn't have access, that some people had trouble having some access to it, I think turned out to be a good thing because everyone knew it was an important event. So I think it would have given some more space. What about yourself?
You know what? I definitely happen to agree with you. The space was a big issue because it was really confined to a small area. So definitely make it a bigger space. I think overall, I would give the press conference a A out of an A+.
Definitely, I would have given it I would have given it an A+ just in general because there's so much press that come out there, and the fact is that people really enjoyed their time there. I felt that the media was treated exceptionally well. We gave them everything that they needed. We gave them answer all their questions. There was no real confusion at all. And it was just I think the only tension that was there, because there was a little tension, was the anticipation of when she was coming because everyone wanted to get their shots in. So we set it up really well, and I think that when doing future celebrity-based events, we'll continue following the same style pattern.
Any recommendation you could really give our viewers about what they should do with a celebrity press conference?
What they should do with a celebrity press conference is, number one, the most important thing is to prepare. There's no other factor that will improve your situation or improve your success of your press conference other than preparing. If you do not prepare, if you don't go over every detail about that press conference, the littlest detail could collapse the entire event.
All right, and just one more piece of advice.
Sure, one more piece of advice is to be assertive and to be strong. Be very assertive in what you're doing, because if you show any sign of weakness or flakiness and they see a lack of control, people will walk all over you. We had to be assertive, we had to be strong, and sometimes you didn't have to be the nicest people in the world, but you had to be strong the entire time. So when somebody asks you a question and they want to know what this is, you have to be able to give the answer. And if you can't give the answer, you get back to them right away. But by being assertive and being strong and by being thoroughly prepared, I think these things will be more successful, more common in the future.
Now we shall talk about news conference in media relation. Press conferences are an indispensable tool for getting media attention. They can be organized by campaigners to present issues related to the campaign to journalists. When can a press conference be useful? If the stories to be told at the press conference are of major social interest and perceived as such by media representatives. If there is something important to announce, preferably linked to a significant event, example at the launch of a national campaign or when the campaign has achieved a significant milestone, example a draft law on domestic violence is scheduled for discussion in Parliament. If a prominent individual, politician, celebrity is present at a campaign event, if there is an issue related to or associated with the campaign that receives media attention, in this case, the press conference should take place quickly after the fact in order to sustain attention, correct misconceptions, if any, and reinforce key messages. Practical instructions. There are some practical instructions are as given. Before the press conference, start planning several weeks before the press conference is to take place. Define the message. The message should be summarized in 3 to 5 key points. If a date, a time, and an address or phone number or other specific information is part of the message, state it more than once and display it prominently in press kit. Double or triple check any such information. Schedule the date and time. Ensure the date and time for the press conference does not conflict with other press events or media deadlines. Check with the local media and the wire services about such deadlines or events. For example, in the USA, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays are the best days for press conferences as they are generally considered slower news days, bearing any sudden or last-minute news events. In some countries, breakfast briefings earlier in the morning could also be useful to offer to attract media attendance. Pick the site. Choose a location for the press conference that is easy to reach and not too far for reporters to travel. Ideally, the site should offer visual interest and relationship to the topic, example, a government building, a courthouse, or a local clinic. Tips for participation. Be clear and concise. Avoid using jargon, rhetoric, digressions, or inflammatory language. Assume the audience is intelligent. Avoid sounding patronizing. Do not fiddle with or clutch anything it is distracting and makes appear nervous. Appearance counts. Participants should be dressed neatly and appropriately for the occasion. Always tell the truth. If one does not know the answer to a question, say so. Do not exaggerate or give figures that are not backed up by evidence, and do not state opinions as facts. At the press conference, welcome members of the press as they arrive. Have them sign in with their affiliations and give each of them a press kit. Check the sign-in pad to see which media outlets are represented. They may also want to make personal contact with major media representatives before or after the press conference. Tape or video record the event for their own records and for possible media use in the future. Start approximately on time. Have the moderator welcome the press and introduce the issue and participants. Each participant should present for no more than 3 to 5 minutes, making his or her 3 to 5 key points. After all the presentation, the moderator should entertain any questions from the press and direct questions to the appropriate participants. After about 30 to 45 minutes, bring the formal conference to an end. Thank the participants for presenting and the media for attending. After the press conference, contact representatives of the major media outlets represented. If one can have a conversation, they will remember one when they need information about one's issue. By looking through one's attendance register, one should be able to determine which major media were not represented. Deliver a press release and press kit to these people. Send a recording of the event or scheduled an interview with a reporter and one of the press conference speakers. Review the press conference with others from the organization that attended. Let us now discuss about inviting news media. Knowing when to invite the media is an important part of working with them to communicate any news, stories or information one wants to get out to the public. But in doing so, there is a fine balance to be had. One's group cannot or should not invite the media to all its events, nor can it not invite the media at all. When should one invite the media? For community groups and not-for-profits hoping to get some media coverage, there are a variety of times when one's group could think about inviting the media. A launch or opening of something new, be it a new facility, new initiative or new service, the launch or opening of something that will make a difference among a wide cross-section of the community. Just remember though, not every new service is big enough or notable enough to need a full-on media launch. It is natural that the organization, like any other, is going to be a bit biased and think everything it does is worth organizing a big media event for. An event, festival, fundraiser, speech. It is always well worth considering inviting the media to events, even if they are likely to come along of their own accord. One example of an event where the media would come along of their own accord would be a suburban or regional festival. A VIP visit. A VIP visit is always worth inviting the media to. Not only is the visit of the VIP in question newsworthy in itself, but it can be a great vehicle to piggyback their group's messages on. A major interview opportunity. If the group is offering interviews or having it say, for example, in response to another statement or event, or propose new rules or legislation, inviting the media to attend an interview or media conference may be an option. A major meeting. Inviting the media to a major meeting of the group might be appropriate if a major decision, policy moved or announcement is to be made. But remember, given the candid and sometimes heated debate that can occur in community group or not-for-profit committee meetings, opening them to the media through an invitation may not be something all the group's members would be comfortable with.
Hello everyone, Ryan Brookness here from PR Caffeine. I want to send out a personal invitation to you to come to our social media level 2 class. This particular class includes a workbook which is going to give you tons of information and tactics on how you can use social media to expand your sales and business operations. Did you know that 50% of small business owners reported gaining new customers through social media, and 51% of Facebook users, as well as 64% of Twitter users, are more likely to buy from brands that they follow on social media? If your business is not on social media, or if you're not using social media for your sales, you need to jump into this today. It is not too late. These classes can help. They can help educate you on what you need to know to expand your sales in your business. Please contact us today if you want more information about this. Go to prcaffeine.com. That's PRCAFFEINE.com. Again, this is Ryan Berknes here with a personal invitation to you to please come to the Social Media Level 2 business class. Thank you so much.
Tips for conducting a press conference. There are some tips for conducting press conferences. Newspaper reporters may not be as interested as television reporters who need a video footage. However, the story must have a compelling story and images to make it onto television. Consider issuing a press release for print reporters and follow it with a telephone conference. Schedule press conferences at convenient times and places for journalists. Mid-morning is best. Keep press conferences under an hour. Most press conferences can be completed in 30 to 45 minutes. Reserve a room in a central location and mark its location well. A small room looks less embarrassing when it is not very full. Alternatively, a theme location can enhance the press event. Example, if the news relates to university research, a good location is in front of a university building. If the event is outdoors, make alternative arrangement in case of bad weather. Secure any necessary permits. Handling press briefings. Press briefing is a media event where journalists are invited by news makers to hear them speak and ask questions. In press briefing, speakers may make a statement which may be followed by questions. However, speakers can just make statements without being asked questions. How to organize a press briefing? What we need is a press briefing. It sounds a simple enough request, but perhaps the thought of letting a crowd of journalists loose on senior management team just brings on a deep sense of doom. The secret is to be sure about the ultimate goals and design the event to T. And of course, to be prepared for anything. Here are the top 10 tips. Stop and think. Take a step back and decide whether a press briefing is really the right tactic. Define the aims for the event and how they into broader strategic goals. Who are targeting? Forget the press for a moment and think about who really want to hear the message. Prospective customers. Go vertical. With these people in mind, compile a wish list of journalists one want to attend. Consider what those prospective customers read as their industry, newspaper, or what they read in their spare time. Score the press for relevant articles and include journalists writing on related topics. Select spokespeople. Are the right people available? Do they have enough knowledge to talk with authority on their subject? It is vital that speakers are well briefed on the aims and purpose of the event and are trained in how to deal with the media. Get timing right. Choose the date with care. Check it does not clash with the press day of key publication or with any other major industry event. Choosing location. Invest time in choosing the right venue for the event. Combine ambience with convenience. Content creation. They need to lure the press with a strong news hook and plenty of supporting information. Preparation. Preparation and preparation. Attention to detail is all. Go over the housekeeping such as provision of food and drinks. Plan ahead so that all presentations are finished and practice in advance. On the day. Expect the unexpected and ensure they have enough staff available to run, fetch, phone or do whatever is needed. It is over. Tie up loose ends by following up with journalists and checking that they have all the information promised. And importantly, return to the original criteria for success and report back on what they have achieved. What does a spokesperson do? A spokesperson's major responsibility is to provide a public voice for an organization, whether it is a business, non-profit or government agency. Within that role, a spokesperson usually conducts most correspondence with media outlets such as newspaper and radio station. A spokesperson may also communicate with members of the public who have questions about an organization.
I usually get this question more from small to medium-sized business owners. Yes, you are the brand of your business, and I strongly believe that you, the business owner, have to be in the video. You can always hire a spokesperson, such as myself, to represent your business, but I want my clients to understand that it's not going to be a spokesperson greeting potential clients when they come to use your services or buy your products. Actors, spokespeople may look better on camera because they are trained to do that, but they will never speak passionately about your business. Only you can transfer that feeling to your potential customers. Corporations, a different story. They have marketing departments and funds to hire spokespeople to deliver their message, and most CEOs don't necessarily want to be perceived as a brand of their companies. However, I am passionate about changing that perception and helping bigger companies understand the value of being there for their current and potential customers and partners.
A press conference is an event where media outlets are called together to cover a newsworthy event. A press conference is a cost-effective promotional tool for small business owners because successful events can be organized on a small budget and the resulting news coverage is akin to free advertising. Items one will need: press kit, podium, microphone, media context. There are some steps for holding press briefing. Step number 1. Decide the topic of the press conference. To be successful, the topic or event should be newsworthy or of significant interest to the general public so that media outlets are more likely to send reporters to cover it. Step 2. Select a date, time and location for the press conference. Check the community calendar and Chamber of Commerce business calendar to make sure the date one chooses does not conflict with other significant or newsworthy events that might draw attention away from one's press conference. Step 3. Plan the press conference at least 2 weeks in advance. This will give enough time to write a press release and determine appropriate media outlets to contact. Step 4. Distribute the press release to media contacts a week before the event. If they have existing professional relationships with reporters or news assignments editors, send the release to their attention. Step 5. Make advance arrangement for interested reporters to interview a company spokesperson before or after the conference. Setting a specific time will ensure the reporter attends the event. Step 6. Stage the press conference area at least an hour before anyone is expected to arrive. Include a podium with a company logo, placard or a long table and chairs if more than one speaker will be participating. Step 7. Appoint a company representative to greet reporters as they arrive for the conference and to coordinate photo opportunities and interviews with company representatives. Step 8. Begin the press conference at its appointed starting time by having a company spokesperson approach the podium, welcome attendees and introduce the main speaker or speakers. Step 9. End the press conference by having a company representative step up to the podium to signal the close of the conference and thank attendees for coming. Step 10. Send personal messages of thanks to media representatives covering the press conference the day after the event. This courtesy strengthens the media relations, which will be an asset in successfully planning future events. Now in the end, let us summarize what we have learned in this lecture. The person calling the press conference usually makes an announcement or statement first, then allows reporters to ask questions. Press conferences are an indispensable tool for getting media attention. The main advantage of a press conference to the person calling it is that they do not have to repeat themselves to several different reporters at separate interviews. People with high credibility, such as local politician, the director of a well-known organization, a physician or a judge, may make effective spokespeople. First-hand testimony from people affected by the issue can be extremely powerful and convincing. The media would cover the festival in the normal course of their reporting because it is newsworthy, but their group could take this a step further and issue a specific invitation for the media to attend the festival's main event, fundraising dinner, gala ball, etc.